your shirt off. Take your shirt off. Plenty.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Shirtless Plantain Show. I am your host, Tosin. To my right, can't even do directions anymore.
I know, can't tell.
My co-host, Paneet.
Hey, what's going on, man? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Fantastic.
Oh, by the way, before we forget, thank you to everyone on the latest merch run we had.
Yeah, we had another one.
Yeah, a surprise one.
You guys are great.
Nigerian Santa Claus does deliver.
Not really. A little bit late. Love the fear of God, by the way. And
Thank you.
It's great.
Very casual.
Look at us compliment each other. We have a guest here. Yes.
Hello.
Some of you might know him. If you don't, this is Alexis from the Cooligan. Yeah. This is the Alexis.
Thank you,
Yes. We couldn't bring Christian on. He's an Everton fan. We have to respect people's at their privacy right now.
They're down bad.
Yeah. They've lost like 10 games in a row. So
I didn't even watch it.
I don't know, because I feel bad. And everyone's like, yo, VAR. I'm like,
There's
bro,
light at the
what
end
happened?
There's light at the end of the tunnel, though. Frank's gone tomorrow.
probably.
You think so?
Yeah.
You heard United fans literally yelling out, "You're sacked in the morning." Literally loud. I heard it on my TV. I was like, "Yo, that's loud."
This is
loud,
who they
man.
wanted. This is who they wanted. Remember the fans spray painted on Goodison? They didn't want, who was the other dude they didn't want?
They don't want.
I forget who it was, but they wanted Frank Lampard. I was like, this dude can't coach for
That's what they get.
I was like, why do you want this dude?
Life is one big ugly lesson, man. They learned that shit.
The hard way.
Bro, they've spent $500 million in 2 years or 3 years. Arsenal spent $236 million. And look at where we're at. Look at where they are.
Hey, listen. Sometimes
Bro.
it just doesn't work out.
Yeah.
But again, everybody, this is Alexis. For those of you who don't know who he is, he's one half of the Cooligans.
Years hurt.
He's one of the great American soccer media we have. Because, listen, we need it, okay? We need it. And Lex has been doing great things. It's a good friend of mine. We actually, early this year, we're going to talk about the Cuban restaurant.
Let's go, dude.
Yeah. Last year, we went to go to a Cuban restaurant. And obviously, I didn't eat pork because that's haram. And they were mad at me.
Yeah, man. To saying you don't eat pork to Cuban people is like saying you were siding with the Germans in World War II in a Cuban house. You know, they're like, what?
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
The owner wanted to fight me physically.
That's like telling Italians you don't want cheese.
Yeah. Now I'm losing it. I just had one. It was good. It was like telling British people you use toothpaste. You know what I mean? Like, they were like, why would you do that?
Yeah.
But if you don't know, like, I don't know if you know the story. The owner was like, I talked to the owner for 2 minutes. Turns out we met once before. Okay. I do a lot of stuff with like the food scene here. And we were just talking about Cuban food. And he mentioned he had guisao, which is like an impossible, it's like a very much a home dish. You don't make that in restaurants. It's almost like a stew that takes a long time and it like gets very thick. And I was like, no, you don't. Like, why would you make that? And he goes, yeah, no, I got it. I was like, bro, you want to try some? And I'm just like, yo, we're going to get free food. You want to try? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, wait, he don't eat pork. And the guy's like, no, try it. It's good. He's like, no, this is a special dish.
And I'm like, no. I don't eat pork. He was so offended.
That's something out of a Seinfeld episode right there.
Yeah,
It was.
he did bring out something that was no pork for you.
I had chicken, obviously.
Yeah.
He was kind of pissed about it, though.
Oh, he was 100% pissed. He was like, don't ever
100%.
come to a restaurant ever again.
Yeah, saying you eat chicken is telling a Cuban you're vegan.
Yeah. Yeah. So I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's talk about Alexis.
Let's do it.
So comedian, naturally.
Yeah.
Funny guy. Very funny guy.
Yeah, I started in this whole soccer business just to be like, let me get enough of a fan base to sell tickets.
Yeah.
And it's almost like swapped spots with comedy at this point. Like,
Talk to us about that.
I'm almost more known for my soccer stuff than I am for the comedy, which is great because all I ever wanted to do was find a way to convert that talent and that skill set. Like my natural talent was like, I know I can make people laugh. How do I make money off this?
Yeah.
Ever since I was a kid, I've always wanted to do stand-up. So I'm like, I started doing it about 10 years, maybe 7 years in. I was like, yo, I had an agent who was like, what are you known for? And I'm like, I'm funny. He's like, everybody who's a comedian is funny or else you stop being a comedian. So what do you know? Which, by the way, is not true. A lot of people continue and they're not funny. But he's like, what do you know for? Like, why would another comic say, like, what would have to happen in front of a comic to say like, yo, I got to talk to Alexis about this, but not comedy, not the business. What other thing? And I'm like, oh, probably either food or soccer. He's like, all right, that's who you are. He's like, go do something in that world. And I just try to figure out, like, how do I make a podcast about soccer that's different than what's already out there?
For sure.
And why I always appreciated your show.
Yep.
And one of the reasons why I was like, yo, I want to be on this show when I started doing soccer is because this industry is wild white. Did you see the sigh? Did you catch that? Dogs' ears perked up. The sound he made isn't even.
All I'm saying is this: I'm not allowed to offend my political connects. But you can go ahead and finish.
Again, we're talking about the industry in 2015, by the way. Now it's filled with very forward-thinking human beings who continue to hire me. So thank you. But at the time, I'm like, bro, this is very suburban, safe. For the most part, boring, very like former player centric, very behind, like very inside baseball. And I'm like, yo, there's just no one bull. Like there's no like this. These ain't the conversations you have with your boys at the bar. And if it is, you have really boring friends.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like where are the guys who talk like us? So I got in the business just by starting a podcast, and I can't believe like I still get to be. You know what I mean?
You just kept it honest, man. That's what it was.
Yeah, and I think
I guess so. Yeah,
it's just like a general conversation, like you said, at a bar, you're just shooting the shit, right? That's all it should be. You don't gotta be up there with all stats and analysis all the time. Just shoot the shit, have some fun.
Like before group chats were like a real thing, our show was like, what would a group chat sound like if you had microphones as opposed to a phone?
And I think that's the way that this country can grow. I mean, obviously we know a lot of ex-players are the ones in front of camera all the time. We understand that. But I feel like there's a space in this country that needs people like us who understand that game in and out. Like we could sit here and do XG if we wanted to.
Yeah, you give me the iPad with the X's and all. I could do the whole thing. But do I want to? No.
I go to the tactics board, but it's not fun like that. The thing that's fun is like we have casual conversations about the sport, which is why I was so happy that you and Christian, exist.
Yeah.
Like I'm happy that we have people like this. And like, even when you go overseas, like that's another thing that you do when you go overseas to London, you do stuff over there. And like, it's a whole nother world what they do versus us.
Previously to being canceled, I got to be on True Geordie. And at the time, and look, I think he's on his way to making amends with what he said. Hopefully he knows that's not the right way to take it. And as a comic, I'm like, I know not to make that joke. You know what I mean? I'm aware of what the repercussions of something like that might be. He's not a comedian. And it's funny, too, because when I was on the show, I go, dude, there's no such thing as cancel culture. I go, you ain't killing nobody. If you kill somebody, that's called repercussions. I go, you say something stupid, who cares? And then I was like, oh, I might have been off a little bit about their culture over there as well.
He said, watch this.
Yeah. He said, hold my warm beer, bro.
Yeah, it's gross.
Yeah, man. But before that, I remember like that was one of those things where I'm like, it's so insanely well produced. And a lot of the people they have on there are leading with banter before the analytics, but they have the analytics as well. And I was like, guys like McCullough, who I'm close with, guys like Rory, who I've spoken to previously, guys like Lawrence, who've, through connections offered me advice when I needed it. Like guys like that, who I know they're on like for soccer content, London is Hollywood. Like there's no way around it.
100%.
Especially for independent soccer content, because they may be 5 years behind on like some fashion shit. They may be 10 years behind on food, but we're 10 years behind on like acceptance of YouTube. And YouTube personalities is more than like kids personas. You know what I mean?
By like food comment. They're still stuck in the 1800s. They eat over
there. No, that's English cuisine.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Think about restaurants.
Okay, that's
yeah.
Like he's saying this as a Indian who got colonized. He knows.
Yeah. I know that firsthand. What they
he's like, all they do is trains. Them. But like to get asked to be on at what was at that point the peak of the mountain of content out there as an American, I was like, oh I was like, dude, I had a plan. I go to London like 6 times a year. Like my plan is like, let me plant some seeds. Let me find a way to break into this market as well. And to actually get asked to be on it without having to like, finesse my way. And I was like, oh shit. Like I did kind of like, I was a little proud of myself on the way back.
You know who I want to give a big shout out to for that? Our boy's Liez.
Yes.
We had Lone here.
Yeah.
Liez has done a great job with his career. I'm sure he probably hear this eventually, but Liez, I'm very proud of you, kid.
There you go.
An amazing job. Because he left Canada, and now he's in London killing it. So
just doing it.
Yeah.
He's really producing like weekly, if not daily.
Daily for sure.
Exactly.
And
that's huge.
I'm very proud. And like that's
huge.
That's the thing is like I want this country to like by the time, especially because we have to walk up here in 4 years, right? Like in my vision is like we need more people like us just doing the media stuff, right? Like
every pocket though. You can be in Miami, you can be in Texas, you can be in Kansas City, wherever. They need people like us to shoot shit, having conversations.
Yes, bro. And if you didn't have the option of going into finance, I want you in this business. You know what I mean?
And that's why, like, rest his soul, I was so, like, sad when Grant died because Grant believed in us, right? Like, believed in you.
This is something that I don't think enough people talk about with Grant. That man opened, a lot of the opportunities I have started with introductions from Grant.
For sure.
That man did, unfortunately, because he passed. That man set set the pace for the way the industry is going to look in like 4 years.
Yeah.
In a way that I didn't even realize until, unfortunately, I wasn't able to be there for his memorial.
Yeah.
I actually planned a trip with my wife for the day after the World Cup final. I was like, babe, we got to go. I haven't been home for a month. You know, she's a nurse here in New York City. She needs a break. I'm like, let's just take like 4 days. And then what happens, and then the Memorial Day gets picked. I was talking to one of Grant's like closest friends who was going. He asked me if I was going to be there. I said, unfortunately, I can't. I'm taking this trip with my wife, but maybe I'll cancel it so I could be there. Because he really was like that important in my career.
100%.
And he said something that made me feel a lot more comfortable. He's like, Grant would want you to be away with your wife. He would rather be away with his wife right now than...
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, great way to put it.
I think the biggest thing is just like where a lot of us are just off the cuff and people don't understand that. And I get it. It's apprehensive when you hear people who are just like, you know, dude from Newark, dude from New York, and me who's just a confused immigrant from 3 different places, right? Like,
and the dude from Yes.
yeah, like where are you from? I'm from everywhere. Like literally, like I'm from Yes.
Yeah, you name it, and probably I'm from there.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. But like he really just believes in people like us. And like a lot of people you see now are on because of him. So rest his soul. Like I had to like, you know, give a big shout out to Grant.
He didn't gatekeep at all. It doesn't matter who you were. If you were good at one thing and you needed someone, he'd be like, hey, I'm Puneet. All right, this is Puneet. You go link with him. That's Lexus. He links with you. He just like
Connect the dots.
founded ways to connect dots for people.
100%.
Absolutely.
And everything he did from like those, you know, go watch the Champions League outside of Smithfield and, you know, events that he would host, he would always invite people and eventually introduce people. And you don't realize it until after the fact. It's like watching the end of Usual Suspects. You're like, oh, he planned this all along.
Yeah.
You just think he's like a good guy and doesn't want to leave you alone at a party or something. You're like, no, that was his plan this whole time. And to his credit, he did see a vision. Because I remember the first thing I heard about Grant was someone who I'm not a big fan of in this business was talking to me. And they were like, yo, watch out for that guy. He is a gatekeeper, essentially is what he said.
Yeah.
And he's like, he don't
Same
like
thing I heard.
he don't like new journalists. He don't like blah, 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 blah. It turns out that's just he don't like you. You know what I mean? Because all I ever knew is he loved all of us.
The thing is, that's what I heard too about Grant. I was like, oh, he's not a good person. And when I got to know him, I was like, yo, I love this guy.
Yeah.
Because I remember the first time he followed me, like I told you, I texted you. I was just like, yo, why is Grant Wall following me? Like literally was like, do you not know who I am? And I said this in the last podcast. You know, I was like, yo, I don't understand why he's following me, but that's just how he was. He was just a really nice guy.
He liked different perspectives also.
100%.
The football space. He really understood that, hey, this guy sees the game a different way or he interprets it or he talks about it. Doesn't make him wrong. It's just a unique perspective.
For sure.
It's like Walter Cronkite following a podcaster. You know, when he followed me, I'm like, dude, you're the guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You did LeBron's 17-year-old Sports Illustrated cover. You following a guy who does jokes for a living.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what?
By the way, let's talk about Newark. You grew up in New Jersey.
Yes.
Dirty Jersey.
Let's go.
Dirty
I didn't grow up in New
Jersey.
Jersey. I grew up in Newark. It's different.
This is different.
Yeah, it's different. Like I say on stage, I say, I didn't grow up in San Francisco. I grew up in Alcatraz. We different.
Yeah.
We're close, but we different.
Newark is not a real place, by the way. That's a place you just drive by to get into New York.
Yeah, man. It's an airport if you can't afford LaGuardia.
That's the airport. That's exactly what it is. You take that train, boom, you're out of there.
Yeah.
That's it. Most people only know from that.
Yeah, talk to us about growing up in Jersey, though.
Dude, it's a wild place, especially because you grew up in Newark. Like, no one else really understands like what you go through. One of my favorite things about people when you tell them you grew up in Newark, they're like, in Newark? Or like around it. I'm like, who makes that up? Who pretends they grew up in
You
Newark?
don't say around there. You're either in there or you ain't. That's
You're
it.
saying a completely different town and trying to avoid the idea of Newark. But sometimes you'll hear like, oh, my grandfather grew up in Newark, or my grandfather's from Newark, or my mom's from Newark. And you're like, and all of y'all got the out. Everyone left us. Everyone left us, bro. We felt so alone. The only time the connection we have with, like, I have a strong connection with New York because my cousins lived here and I would spend like 3-4 days a week with them. But the connection most people from Newark have to New York, besides just being so close, but you kind of feel like a little bit of like the bastard stepchild a little bit. But there's always this cool thing, like my keys got locked in my car and I had to call Geico. It was a couple weeks ago. And the dude who came out, flat brim, Bronx all over it, wild heavy accent, just like the most heavy accented Bronx Puerto Rican dude. And we start speaking Spanish and he's like, where you from? And I'm like, I'm from Newark. He goes, oh, I spent some time out there. And I go, you hiding out? And he goes, yeah, how'd you know? He goes, man, they were warring out here. He's like, I had to run, bro. I'm like, that's Newark. Like, most of the people I met in Newark that were from New York gave me a fake name because they were hiding out.
Yep.
Or they gave me their government because they didn't want me to know their street name because they were hiding out. Like, Newark is like, it's your home away from home if you like to jug, you know?
What a place. And you know, this is a great segue to talk about Jersey, because Jersey, we're gonna get to that towards the end of the podcast.
Oh, I know.
This is great.
I can't wait.
I'm excited.
There's a lot of Jersey conversations to be had.
Oh, this is gonna be a great
Jersey activities are some of the best.
100%.
Yeah.
So 2 New Jersey people this week made headlines in U.S. soccer.
Yes, they did.
2 of them used to play for the national team. One of them's a coach.
Yep.
One of them used to coach in New York. Well, one of them used to be a director in New York.
Yeah.
His name is Claudio Reyna.
Yes, sir.
The other guy's Greg Berhalter. And let's talk about what happened. We had a podcast about that. I want to keep it brief. We obviously know what happened.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? Because for me, you know what that reminded me of? Like I said, I call my mom, right? Because my mom doesn't know what's happening. And mind you, my mom's the biggest soccer mom. Like my brother's team won 4 nationals. My mom was like the soccer mom.
And
right?
this has made national news.
For sure.
NPR did an hour on it.
Mind you,
is crazy to think
mind you, my mom is a very Lagosian mother.
Yes.
Very Yoruba. My mom is extremely Yoruba. I'll call my mom right now. She'll probably call me. It's probably answering Yoruba, right? I told my mom, I said, Mom, this is what happened in soccer. Explain to her. She goes, that's what happened with Benga's team at 13. And I was just like, why is this happening at like the professional level? So I want you to talk to us.
I think the part that upsets me the most is Tony Miola, who's from Jersey, said he's never been more disappointed. Okay. Someone else who I don't know where they're from, I think they're from like Wisconsin or something, said they've never been more embarrassed. And I said, what are you better than me? What do you think you're better than me, bro? Like, what do you mean embarrassed? This is what happens. This is a New Jersey love language.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You threatening people is only illegal if you follow through. You know what I mean? You tell someone, hey, it'd be a real shame if you lost your job if my kid don't start. That is pretty standard Jersey conversation. This is what people said, like Real Housewives of New Jersey was wild. Like, no, that's going through the produce department of a ShopRite.
Kat, do not go there. I'm serious, Kat. Do not go there.
In Jersey, this is standard everyday things. I grew up thinking illegal things were okay as long as it wasn't like really illegal.
Yeah.
That's honestly what I mean. You Queens? Where are you from?
Spend time in Queens.
There you go.
Spend time. Listen.
Spend time in Queens. What are you hiding out?
No, like you said, everything is just a litmus test of like, how much can I get away with?
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's not anything wrong. It's just a little, litmus test.
Taxes are a game, like, hey, how much can I get off,
Yeah.
Like, this is how things are. So as soon as somebody tweeted out, hey, not for nothing, but like Claudio Reyna's wife was roommates with Greg Berhalter's wife at the time that this happened, I was like, oh, that's it. They're from no, this is it. This is exactly what happened.
And you know what's crazy though? Greg Berhalter and Claudio Reyna were teammates, not only in high school, but club soccer. And you know who's
in
dad?
St. Benedict's in Newark, by the way.
You know exactly, full circle. But you know who their club coach was?
Who?
Claudio Reyna's dad was their club coach.
Bro, I mean, they're like, this is a long-term friendship that Claudio Reyna was like, nah, I'll burn it to the ground so my kid could play more minutes in the World Cup. And I got to be honest, I'm picking his side. I'm taking Claudio and his wife's side on this. I would do the same thing for my nephew. Yeah. If you don't think I would completely expose myself to extreme legalities, you know what I mean? To get my kid or my nephew, I don't have any kids, to get my nephew to level up, I do it in a drop of a hat.
You know what he did though? Like, how do you hold him for something for 31 years and go full Cameron? I got dirt on you, dog. You like, what? Like,
yeah.
The thing that's been trending on Twitter the last couple of weeks has been the nepotism baby.
Yeah.
And this was just like a full episode of that.
Yeah. Don't you think it's a little different though? Because it's not like we're talking about like, the head of a major bank.
Yeah, it's not.
You know what I mean? It's like
a light.
You need to still have the skill to play the game.
Yeah,
but at the same time, it's like, yo, Claudio, you did also go to the World Cup when you were 20, didn't play because you weren't injured. Like, if anybody should understand, it should be you. But
people also started talking about how he pressed people when he was at NYCFC to get his kid like more playing time. Like he showed signs of this at that time. And it was like, I mean, I don't know if that's true. People are talking about it, right? Obviously NYCFC, shouts to you. Love you guys. Thank you for the check. Thank you for the job. But if that's true, it's like, how did we not know this was going to happen? And also, there's nothing more Jersey than holding on to something for 30 years just to know you have something on somebody.
Just to weaponize it when you need to.
Yeah.
But if Greg Berhalter really from Jersey, then I'm sure he knows something about Claudio. Oh. And if not, you make something up about Claudio.
You guys know each other for that long. Your wives know each other.
Yeah.
You guys got shit on each other.
What's the U.S. and Russia had mutual destruction, mutual MAD. It was like you got nuclear weapons, I got nuclear weapons. If you launch them, I launch them. We both go down.
Yeah.
You hit the red button, I hit the red button.
Yeah.
I have that with friends. You know what I mean?
100%.
These
We
are
both
close
know that.
friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
That's my brother.
Yes.
Yes.
And this is how people are like, yo, how do you maintain friendships for so long? Yo, we know too much dirt on each other to stop being friends, bro.
Too late to go back now.
Yeah. I can't be that disrespectful. You know what I mean?
Blood in, blood out.
Yes.
This is
There you
real.
go.
Yeah.
I think one of the messiest teas, though, I don't know if it's true or not. Someone might have to confirm it. They were like, Berhalter's kid used to play for Austin FC.
That's true.
He was on loan at Austin FC.
Okay. Because they were
But
saying
he just
how-
got the
Yeah,
boot.
Reina gave him the boot because Reina's
Yeah.
the director there, which I was like, oh, 1 + 1 = 2. I get it.
But you know, this might there might be this might be a bit more extended for Claudio because you know apparently Precourt is a big Berhalter guy. You know, there's staff. Josh Wolf, the coach there, came from the Berhalter system. You know, the tentacles, the Berhalter tentacles are pretty big in Austin FC. So this might be even more difficult for Claudio. And I like Greg. I like Greg a lot, man. He did our show. Someone clipped out a piece of the interview we did with him where he talked about Claudio's like family. He's known Gio since he was a kid. He's pulling for him.
Yeah.
I'm like, I forgot we had that on our show. I'm like, thank you for clipping that.
My thing is, like, at the end of the day, like, because this is a good segue into the next topic, which we're going to keep it super clean, by the way. We're going to keep this clean.
Okay.
Keep it fresh. No?
Yeah.
Family,
A lot
family
of
show.
bleeping.
It's a lot of it's a family show. But one of the things that just impresses me is just like how people don't realize U.S. soccer, like, there's a lot of nepotism in it. It's a lot of just like who you know and what you know.
100%.
It's the old
And
man's club.
for me, when I was looking, I was like, this is literally ODP again, man. I was like, I don't want to relive my childhood trauma. I don't live
Yeah.
against, I don't relive this again.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you know, I don't know what's gonna happen with Greg. We don't know. All we can only do is speculate. I just hope that it gets resolved because it's childish. But it's
the thing
good
with
for
Greg is he has his contract's technically up now
It is. He's not the coach technically.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they got somebody else,
For the
Austin.
friendlies, yeah.
for the friendlies. I saw that. I was like, he's technically not a coach. He's just chilling.
Yeah.
Also, if we're being honest, this is enough of a stain. Even if it's the question of like, what are the legalities around what he did? Can we be sued? That's enough, I think, for U.S. Soccer to potentially find a way around hiring him. There's also like, there's the fear that he might be able to sue because it's like, well, you did an investigation on something happened 30 years ago. It's hearsay. There's no police report. You can sue. You legally can sue. So they might be offering him like, all right, we'll give you a 1-year deal. We're not firing you. We'll give you a shitty deal. You take it if you want it.
We're gonna be the coaches of U.S. soccer.
Yeah. Well, then, you know what? We're not qualifying ever again if I'm the coach.
Auto qualify, baby. We're good to go.
Yeah.
We're already good for 2026.
That's it. But after that, it's downhill,
After that, you
folks.
can me. Give me those
Yeah,
4
yeah.
years, though.
We're going to be more of a merch brand.
It's gonna be real USA menswear hours. It's gonna have an
Yes.
Indian, a Cuban, and Nigerian taking over.
It's going to be all fits. And we get that Nike contract. Forget it.
Bro,
listen,
Are you kidding me?
I'm going to be in that design shop every day.
We're going to have to be retroing a few things, bro, because I need them 90 sizes.
I'm gonna get that Whitney Houston jersey from '94 and Nike.
Speaking of Newark, yo, it's a Newark heavy show right
Listen,
here.
shout out. I got a Newark question for you, but yes, it's a good segue because we have seen soccer grow in this country immensely. I remember I moved here in 2001. I had to use ghetto cable to watch soccer. in this
Yeah.
You
country.
have the cable box?
Oh no, I'm Nigerian. Trust me, I had a way to watch it. I'm not gonna incriminate the people that I know.
No, I'm saying the cable box. You
yeah.
know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
yeah,
little
yeah,
black box joint.
exactly.
Yeah.
But for sure. But what I was trying to say is that like it's grown. Like from when I came 2001 till now, it's been insane. Like I could literally pull out my phone and just watch soccer anywhere I'm at. Like I remember watching AFCON 2020 in my apartment. I'm like, yo, I remember I used to watch on a fatback TV and now we're watching it. So
Yeah.
soccer's grown in this country a lot. And I think one of the biggest things that has helped grow soccer in this country is video games, especially
100%.
FIFA.
Yep.
And this segment is sponsored by EA Sports. Shout out to the good people at EA, by the way.
Thank you guys so much.
We are going to talk
Send me a
about...
copy, will you?
Yes. We
Why am I
love it.
paying for
23
this
still available.
Huh?
Still available in stores.
No, why am I paying?
Yeah.
Send me a copy.
So we're going to talk about FIFA Team of the Year. And I need both of you guys to give me your 11s of players. I have the list of the Team of the Year. I'm going to be the judge. Actually, you know what? Let me put out my team first and you guys can like judge and we can talk it from there.
I already know what the team's going to be. I play this game like
Okay.
no life it, so I already know what it's going to be.
Okay.
I'll let Alexis go first, then I'll
You going to go first with your
No,
11?
go first, because I didn't even know we were doing this.
Okay.
And my phone's charging.
So my 4-3-3, I'm a Dutch guy. I'm sorry. I love 4-3-3.
Yep.
Goalkeeper's Allison. Has
Very
to be
nice.
Allison in goal. Right back is Hakimi. Center backs. Who are my center backs? Thiago Silva, Marquinhos are my center backs. Left back is
Okay,
going
I
to
like
be
Marquinhos.
Yao Cancelo. My defensive mid is going to be Casemiro.
Okay.
Beat me up if you like it. Don't care. Center midfielder is going to be Bernardo Silva. And the attacking mid, I'm going to do something funky right here. I'm going to put Messi as my 10.
Ooh.
That's unique.
I'm
Something
going to
different.
put
Why you need a false 9 when you got a 10?
I'm going to put Neymar as left wing.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
going to put Mbappe as right wing. And I'm going to put Haaland as my striker. And that's my team of the year.
So I know how
Jeez.
this voting works. I know how these things work and how they weighed in with the awards. So it's gonna be a lot of Real Madrid. So Courtois is in net.
Okay.
Hakimi's your right back.
Okay.
Your center backs are gonna be Eder Militao, who's a lock.
Okay.
I'd pretty much say it's a lock. I really didn't want to pick Virgil the Stallion, but I mean, you just look at all the other center backs across the board, and Liverpool was like, for everything, the Premier League, they were right there. The Champions League were right there. He'll get in on that. Left back is going to be Theo Hernandez.
Okay.
That's a lock. Your center mid, 4-3-3, because that's what they always do. They're
Yeah,
going to go
pretty
with,
standard.
it's going to be Valverde,
Okay.
De Bruyne,
Okay.
and Modric.
Okay.
And then your attack is going to be Mbappe, Benzema, and Messi.
See, and that's what I would have said. Haaland obviously is a great pick, but
Yeah.
I would have gone Benzema.
Okay.
I don't think there's been a year a Ballon d'Or winner hasn't been in Team of the Year.
You know what? I forgot that Benzema Ballon d'Or. Sorry, excuse me, Haaland.
That's
You got a
why I
good
would have
drop.
gone
Yeah,
with him.
sorry.
Even though Haaland deserves it, but he will be deserving it as he keeps winning Ballon d'Or.
Yeah,
after this
exactly.
year.
But yeah, it has to be Ben. Sorry, I completely
Yeah.
forgot it. Because the whole World Cup, I forgot Benz wasn't even there.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah.
he was
sorry,
one
excuse-
anyway. He was passenger chilling.
Yeah, excuse me.
Yeah.
Benz is there. Sorry, Haaland, you got to drop out. And,
Absolutely.
I did make a mistake. I have to drop Neymar and put Messi there and put KDB in mine. Sorry.
Yes.
Forgot about KDB.
Got to throw
yes.
KDB in there?
And
Very
12th man,
nice.
because they do 12th man vote, Vinicius Jr.
Fair enough.
Yes. I think it's funny. I don't think Real Madrid is missing much. I mean, I think he's an incredible player, but not getting him Mbappe. I think Vinicius is going to turn into just one of the most, probably not Mbappe levels, but he's going to be one of the most incredible.
Listen,
He's
that-
so well rounded.
Oh my God.
that Brazil
And he's
team-
more than just speed. So is Mbappe, but he is more than just speed. That
very
kid is
technical.
got
And
very
I love
techy.
Rodrigo, by the way.
Yes.
Very good player. But yeah, listen, team of the year, all this FIFA stuff is amazing to see how much it's grown the sport.
A lot of it's because of FIFA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I want to hear your team.
What you came up with.
Okay.
Militao, I probably would add.
Yeah.
Okay.
Modric, too old for me to put in there.
Okay.
I would probably swap out Neymar for Saka and put Mbappe back on the left.
Ooh.
Saka's got a
good
good
choice.
case, though. He's
Yeah.
really got a good case, low key.
Saka, I think, especially the way he started this season,
That's a good player right there.
absolutely deserves it. Plus,
He had a
I
really
can't
good
get William
World Cup.
Saliba in there, so I got to get an Arsenal. I got to get an Arsenal player in
the
there.
thing with the voting this year is people like the World Cup's always in the summer,
Right.
so you let it marinate. It sits. It happened at the end of the year, and people are like, "Oh, let's not forget it." If they had, I mean, Messi had what, a so-so 2022 before the
Yeah, he
season
had
was over.
A lot of assists, not a lot of
He's
goals.
gonna make it strictly off the World Cup.
yeah.
You know who's a player that-
also deserves it.
Yeah, and he deserves
Yeah.
it, of course. Yes.
He's also had an incredible year, an incredible start to the PSG
Yeah,
campaign.
this year.
You know who's
Yeah.
a player on here that people don't know about that I love? I love Daichi Kamada.
Daichi Kamada?
Kamada?
Yeah, from Frankfurt.
Oh yeah. Oh no, he's good.
I just love saying his name. One Daichi. That's a
Isn't
really
he?
good player.
He's being looked at by somebody. Was it? It's not United. It's maybe Liverpool.
Maybe Arsenal. I don't know, but he's a good player.
Man, Arsenal's gonna waste all their time with Mudryk. Oh no, cursing. Sorry,
Family show.
all their fudging time with Mudryk.
Don't worry. We'll do that in post production.
A nice little beep right
yeah,
there.
yeah. You can just cut that part out.
But that's your team?
Yeah, I'm Arsenal through and through.
Okay. I like it. But yes, voting is now. You guys can go ahead and vote for your team of the year. Shout out to good people at EA once again. You guys are amazing, and we appreciate you guys so much. So, speaking of Arsenal, how did you become an Arsenal fan?
Dude, when I started watching the sport in this country, there was only two options. They showed a lot of German football. I wasn't a big fan, especially because you would hear it was like dubbed over. So you'd hear their announcer in German, but you'd hear like an English or an American announcer louder over it. It just seemed fake. It was like pushed through. Everyone in the Ironbound section was Benfica, and I was like, I don't understand Portuguese. So there was no Cuban teams. You couldn't really find La Liga. The only two options for if you wanted to watch it in English were Manchester United or Arsenal, and they would show the games like a few days later. They would just be like, and now is Arsenal versus Tottenham. It could have been like 3 weeks ago. It was really hard to follow along, but I started really enjoying the way Arsenal was playing. There's also this bar in downtown section of Newark. So a lot of my friends that grew up in the Ironbound section, where all the Portuguese and Brazilians are, we'd all ride our bikes, and all of us from the North Ward would come down and we'd meet downtown. Yep. And then we just it was like mostly abandoned too. So like you could do whatever you wanted. There was no cops. was a lot of fun. The only place you could really go and like use a bathroom and stuff like that, if you didn't want to just like pee out on the street, is this bar where like a lot of firefighters hung out, and they would always have on Manchester United games because a lot of those guys were Manchester United fans. So they would roast us and we would make fun of them back. And obviously they were adults. They were really good at it. But just to piss one of them off one day, I'm like, I'm going to be a fan of the other team, which was Arsenal. And I'm like, oh, I've seen that team before anyway.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, they go on this undefeated. I mean, they played incredibly well. They got Thierry Henry. Once I saw him put the socks over the knees, it was over. Yeah. I'm like, that might be the coolest human being ever. Yeah. And as a Knicks fan, I wasn't watching basketball because Jordan was kicking our ass, right? So I'm like, I'm going to watch this. And it was one of those things where it culminated at the right time, you know? I heard somebody say recently, if you're an Arsenal fan, you're over 30. And I was like,
it's true. Do you remember when we broke it down?
Yeah.
We said this before, like we know if you're of a certain age and you're an Arsenal fan, I know what your gateway drug is.
Yeah.
It's either Ian Wright, Arsene Wenger, Thierry Henry, and if you're Nigerian, Kanu.
Yeah, Kanu
and
was
if you're a
great.
sicko like me, you love Nico Anelka. Only very few sickos love Nico Anelka.
You know, I remember Nico Anelka was the first striker I really paid attention to. He was only there for a short while.
Yeah.
But I remember I even spoke to Ian Wright about it because I was like, what was that like when that whole thing happened? He goes, in training, you've never seen anything like Anelka. He's like, we all thought he was the next big thing. And I don't know if he said like he got in his own way. I forgot what the verbiage he used. I don't want to put words in his mouth. But he was like, man, when he started, we were all scared. Yeah. He's like, we're not gonna have jobs. This kid's a beast.
Speaking of Ian Wright, by the way, big shout out to Uncle Ian. Ian Wright is basically like their version of Grant Wall in a sense. Like Ian is like a conductor. Like he's plugged in so many people. He's another great dude. I really want to meet Ian Wright in person.
Bro, it was an honor to get to hang out with him in a trailer doing the NBC stuff. Yeah. And like when Saka scored against Leeds, he jumped up and hugged me. I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. Like I'm hanging out with Ian Wright. Like that was wild. The first time I met him, the government, like the British government, the UK government, did a bunch of pop-ups in New York City. I don't know if you remember, they did like the phone booths where like you tell them like what your dream is and like maybe you can win a trip to England. They did a bunch of different pop-ups. One of the things they did was they had the Premier League do, I think it was Manchester United versus Tottenham. It was Michael Carrick and Ian Wright. I don't know why they would pick Ian Wright to represent, not that he represented Tottenham, but like, why would you piss off you're making the Manchester United fans happy and you're pissing off the Tottenham fans. But he was great. I mean, he was like enigmatic, man. Like everyone loved him, you know? And whatchamacallit, afterwards, one of the people there that was running the thing saw me and was like, yo, come in VIP. And I'm just standing there just like, you know, trying to get free drinks and free food. And I look up and it's an old factory and it was like that slant, like sort of ramp thing. And at the top of it is Ian Wright. And I could just see like a silhouette of him. I was like, oh, this is my chance. I'm in VIP. I could talk to him. Yeah. And Michael Carrick was standing between us. I'm like, yo, get out the way, Mike. And I was like, I don't know why you want to talk to you, Mike. I went straight to Ian Wright. And I was like, bro, like, you know, I had my friend was Jamaican growing up. And we were all like, yo, Thierry Henry. And he was like, yo, if you like Thierry Henry, if you think that's a good player, you should look up Ian Wright. And then you find out like the troubles he had before he got in. And it, you know, a little similar to how it is for us to get in this business, it was as difficult of a hurdle he faced getting into English football at the time. Being a dude from the ends, being a black dude, all that, like all the struggles that he felt. Like we were able to have a conversation of obviously not a similar story, but like some similarity, some overlap. Yeah. And dude, he looked at me and goes, hey man, you're funny. I was like, what? I made Ian Wright laugh? I'm like, yo, this is crazy. And I was about to ask him for a photo, and then he goes, we should take a picture. And it was with my phone, but he knew I wanted one. Yeah. He didn't want the photo. It's not for him. He goes, we should take a picture. And we took a picture, and we talked for like 10 more minutes. And then he like said goodbye, and I was just like walked away. My friend's like, I can't believe.
I tell people this all the time, especially like I've met Thierry Henry twice this year. Yeah. Met Micah, met Jamie, met Ket, like met everybody. I met Beckham a few years. When we first time we met each other, was that the MLS thing?
The 25th anniversary?
Yeah, that's the first time we met each other.
Yeah. That's when I asked Beckham to adopt me.
Yeah.
I said, yo, you got a kid in Brooklyn, right? And he goes, yeah. I go, yo, you should adopt me. I'll be the Bronx Beckham. Like, let's go.
So before he interviewed y'all, right? Before he went in, I talked to Bex. I was like, you remember your goal against Wimbledon '96? He literally stopped, turned around, came to me, and was like, mate, you're old. Why do you remember that? Yeah. I was like, oh my God, Beckham called me old. He shook my hand. I feel like
he's great. Yeah. He's got a great personality. You don't see it as much on camera, but in person.
But one thing I was saying is like, you meet a lot of these people. I know people say don't meet your heroes and stuff. A lot of these people are nice. You just gotta meet them. You gotta meet them halfway. Don't be a prick.
I think the funniest thing is Ian's the perfect encapsulation of that because one, as a former footballer, he's transitioned to pundit media perfectly. Like you could see his personality And at the same time, and this is what you said about him hugging you after the goal.
Mhm.
Players play for teams; it's whatever. But players who still love their former clubs like that are awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice to see because it's not
It's Evra. He eats chicken.
yeah, raw chicken.
Evra,
I love this game.
who's another funny example of this though? Schweinsteiger, because he grew up a United fan. He only played for us for like 2.5 years, but every weekend now he taps in, watches the game.
Yeah.
I didn't know he only played for 2.5 years. I don't know why it seemed like it was longer.
Because United, we've been bad for the last
Yeah,
year.
yeah, yeah,
It's been one big blur.
Yeah.
a rough-
All
it's a rough
of our
one.
struggles. But guess what, though?
We're back.
up.
Oh yeah,
Back
you
up.
guys think you finished in fourth?
I think top 4 is sewn up.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
honestly think top 4 is sewn up.
It's
I know
looked like
it's
that.
good. This probably gonna age like milk. Somebody's gonna clip like
100%.
Scams. Look what you said.
I'm gonna ask y'all.
You can clip this shit right now. We're finishing top 4. You can clip this shit right now. We're finishing top 4. And if we don't, so the what?
I'm gonna ask y'all because I don't want to be clipped saying this. Arsenal finishes first or second?
First
First or second?
or second. But I think Arsenal's gonna win the league. I'm sorry.
You know what it is?
It's so hard for me to say it.
I
because I need it to happen.
really think your fans are really juicing yourself up for a big disappointment.
love-
you guys are drinking that Kool-Aid so heavy right now.
To draw at home against Newcastle was difficult.
Yeah.
But if we can get at least a point from St. James, I think we could do business against Manchester City at our house.
See, that's the thing. You guys are 5 up. You guys got City coming in. That's a 6-point swing. Either you guys get 3 on them or they get 3 on you. Cut it off, man.
But they need that game more than we
Yes.
do.
100%.
You guys could take a draw from that and be perfectly happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we can sneak away with a point, and I don't know what happens at the Etihad, but if they come into the Emirates and we can each take a point from that, that's a loss for them. That's a win for us.
Yeah. I mean, look. Either way, I just want Champions League football. I don't care
Yeah.
about anybody
So
else.
I want the bright lights again.
Yeah.
want
I
that
just want to
music.
be right, man. I said when they were talking about Arteta, I said this is the guy. I said he's going to be our manager for 20 years. He's the next banger.
He's a psychopath. It's
Yeah.
just like Eric Ten Hag. Like these new managers, look, they're crazy.
Yeah.
Like Eric Ten Hag took over our reserve team. He says, "I don't go home. I go watch the U8 and U9 team." I'm like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, no, go home, man.
Like, go to your wife.
Yeah.
Go to your wife.
Yeah.
He's Dutch, though. Dutch people built different.
They are.
Do you not like your kids, bro? Go home.
They're very blunt.
Yeah.
He's on that Tom Brady. He's on that Tom Brady,
man.
Tom Cruise family thing. Like, what's family? I don't
Bro,
believe that.
my wife was asking me about the Tom Brady thing, and I'm like, the difference between him and like someone like a Cristiano Ronaldo is because I know they had that conversation, and as much as I despise Cristiano Ronaldo, he still has like a thing to win. He never won a World Cup. Tom Brady doesn't win at all.
Yeah.
There's nothing else for this man to win.
He's broken every record.
Yeah.
You don't have to do this.
That's the thing. Like, you really don't. You're good.
No.
And the worst part is come back next year. 100%.
Oh, he's going to be a New York Jet next year. Watch.
Oh my God. He's gonna be what, 46?
46, 47, yeah.
I'm telling you, he'll be, if he's not a 49er Raider, he's going to be a Jet.
This is embarrassing.
Like, go home.
You lost Giselle Bundchen, bro.
For what?
She had more bread than him, too.
Yeah.
That's the crazy part, man. You down bad. You got CTE and you broke.
She's the hilarious. You can't even remember you broke. You CTE so bad, bro.
You look at a 2021 bank statement. What are you doing, bud?
Bro, she's the international superstar.
She's Giselle.
Goes by one name, Giselle. That's right.
He's B. He's B in that conversation. She's A. He's B. How do you let that go?
Love of the game, man. Love of the game. Let's get in some rapid fire before we get out of here.
Let's do it.
I got some good ones.
Yo,
Give me
nothing
a
scares me more than Tosa with a notebook.
Yes, I do know how to read and write. Okay. What's your favorite movie of all time?
Pope of Greenwich Village.
What?
Wow.
Yeah. Eric Roberts and Mickey Rourke.
Oh wow.
The best. If you've
He
never
literally-
seen it,
That
You-
just
you
came out of
missing
left
out.
field. I never know what to expect for the answer, but something like that deep of a cut.
Bro,
I watch it maybe like once every 3 months
I
still.
need to say it slow for everybody.
The Pope of Greenwich Village.
There you go.
Listen,
Dude, it is as great a New York movie as has ever been made.
give us your top 5 rappers of all time.
Oof.
Yeah. I
There
love
you go.
this question so much.
Yeah, that one changes a lot. I mean, just because you got to go Biggie number 1.
Okay.
I'm not a West Coast guy, so I'm not going to go Biggie number 2. This is top 5 of all time.
Mhm.
Biggie, Jay-Z, Nas.
2 more.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm just trying to think, like, who do I put on this list? Because he's what I consider to be the greatest Latin rapper of all time, Pop Smoke.
Okay.
People forget he's Panamanian.
Yes, he is.
Let's see.
Rest in peace, Pop Smoke.
Yeah. R.I.P. Pop. And you know what? I I don't want to go West Coast. I probably won't go South. I'm probably staying here. You know what? I'll go Big Pun.
That's what I was half expecting you to
Yeah,
say.
yeah.
Latin rap. I'm like,
That's why I switched. I was like, I knew no one was going to expect Pop Smoke.
hours. Give us your top 5 comedians of all time.
Oh, that's hilarious. Number 1, me. Number 2, me. Number 3, me. Number 4, me. Number 5, me. Because I spit hot fire.
there you go.
He went full dialogue, but
If I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna say comics that aren't like me though. I tend to like comics that aren't like me. Most comedians don't like comedians that are like them. I like Colin Quinn, Dave Attell, Mike DiStefano, who passed away a long time ago, but he's the face at the comedy club The Stand. Hilarious comic. Richard Pryor and Martin Lawrence.
Okay. I thought you were gonna say Eddie Murphy.
Nah, I was an Eddie Murphy fan, but I think I connected more with Martin Lawrence's style than Eddie Murphy's. Eddie Murphy is just one of the most talented human beings that ever existed, though. But
I grew up on Eddie Hart. That's why I was asking that question. Like I remember I was like young and my dad put on Raw and like I was like, why am I watching this?
I remember like when no one was around in my friend's basement, we used to watch Raw over and over and over.
I saw a lot of
again.
Patrice coming up.
Patrice is great.
He's
Amazing.
great. He's
Patrice
so
is probably the
RP.
purest comedian that's ever existed.
Yes.
He got dolphin teeth. Give us your top 5 footballers of all time.
Thierry Henry, Ian Wright, William Saliba, Thierry Henry, Ian Wright. I don't want to go Forlan because I think he failed in Europe. So it's difficult for me to say that.
He was good at Atletico. He's solid.
Yeah, it was good at Atletico. I'm thinking
He scored against
UK.
Liverpool. He's a hero for life.
Yeah, that one too.
But I am a very small part Uruguayan, so I want to say Forlan for the culture.
This is such a tough question.
I mean Messi, obviously.
Of course.
And I wanna put Mbappe on there already.
Why not?
Go ahead.
But I feel like
Who cares? It's your list.
what's my era though? You know?
There's no error. Who cares? They ain't gonna beat you up for it.
You know what I'm gonna say? Name no one. No, I'm not gonna say. I was gonna say just to joke around. Scott Sinclair, remember him?
Yeah. Here's a real question for you.
I think he's still playing. I'm gonna go Mbappe for number 5.
Do you still hold a grudge against Fabregas or Van Persie?
Both? Van Persie more. Fabregas, I couldn't be mad because he went home.
Yes.
And I don't care what you do after that. I know he went to Chelsea. It is what it is.
Ask Moose that question and see what he says.
Oh, I know.
Moose is my boy on the podcast, coach.
Yeah.
English dude. Yeah.
Y'all gotta let that hate out of your heart if you want to win the title. Now,
Nah,
I'll tell you that
when
much.
Van Persie said, like, yo, I had to listen to Little Boy in my heart, I was like, bro, I want to fight the little boy and him, bro. No.
Give us your top 5 people from New Jersey.
Oh, hilarious.
This is gonna be good.
Jesus, this is tough. You might not know some of these people. who helped me live.
Uncle Vinny.
Yeah, no, actually there was a guy who gave me a lot of advice coming up is a guy named Dickie.
Okay.
Shouts to Dickie. Eugene, you know who he is. Y'all won't know it. You know who you are, Eugene. Thank you for everything. Wouldn't be here without you, literally. Let's see. Myself, because I'm amazing. Redman. And top 5 people from New Jersey.
Akon.
Hilarious. Locked up, baby. Well, he said some wild shit recently.
He has, and he also now has a yarmulke on his head. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's doing with that new hairline, but it
I
looks
can't
bad.
co-sign that, but he has like helped Africa a lot, and that's a beautiful thing.
That's a conversation off the podcast.
Yeah.
I'm not having that
Didn't he
conversation.
invent a soccer pitch that generates
I am
energy?
not. This is a conversation off the
I need you on record as talking about this.
Nope.
Didn't he invent it, or at least he said he was going to
Nope.
invent it?
I do not want to text. I do not want to text some boomer dangle. I am good.
Shouts to Boomer, bro.
Shout out to
If he was
Boomer.
from Jersey, he'd be on this list.
Okay.
Number 5. You know what? It. Mayor Sharp James. The most corrupt mayor of all time. Bruh.
I would have thought Whitney would have been on there.
Whitney deserves to be on it, but no, Sharp James is so illegal. On his last day, he rode a bike through City Hall wearing a Shabazz, which is the school there, Malcolm Shabazz wife beater, and another school's hat. And he rode a bike past the reporters and told them to go f themselves.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he also gave land to his side pieces. I mean, it's just the most corrupt human being of all time.
We know you travel a lot. What's your favorite city you've visited?
Can I give you my top 3?
Let's get
Yeah.
top 5. Let's get top 5.
Top 5?
Yeah.
Top
Go for
5 cities outside of New York.
Yeah.
Outside of the U.S. Let's do
Outside
it.
of the U.S.
Outside of US?
Yeah.
Perfect. London's number 1.
Mhm.
Montreal number 2.
Okay.
Paris 3rd.
Mhm.
I'm going to go with Madrid, even though I think Barcelona, you could have a little bit more fun in Barcelona. I'm going to go with Madrid. And Berlin is number 5.
You know what's the thing I hear about Berlin? And like one of my boys, shout out to, I can't remember his name, Jesse, Marvin's Corner. Shout out to Jesse. They call it Berlin. Apparently,
For real.
They get down over there.
Bro, they think like, we're like, yo, bars close at 4. And they're like, it's hilarious. Why so early? You know? Like,
you know, like,
they don't go out till like 3 a.m.
They got them like castles and shit where you party in the shits with the lights off.
Yeah.
And, like the rave lights and shit. They don't around over there.
Yeah, man, they're built different.
Yeah.
It's lovely.
Berlin's a wild place, man.
What's the most memorable moment of your career? By the way, shout out to the NBC thing. I was watching the NBC thing when you guys were on there. I literally stood up where I was, started clapping. Like, this is my boys.
Bro,
so
when they were like, they said in our ear, like, yo, we need you back near the stage. And we were in the trailer. I'm like, okay. And I said on the thing, I'm like, all right, we'll be there. And they're like, you need to get to hair and makeup first. And I was like, what?
Okay.
I'm like, are we about to be on TV? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, you got 5 minutes. I'm like, what? Oh my God. Like, we couldn't prepare anything. We just got on TV and they all knew. We didn't. But shouts to NBC. That was really dope of them. We'll also be in Orlando, January 20.
By the way,
21st,
shout out to
22nd.
Aaron Durant.
Yes.
I love that guy. He texted me. He was like, you don't have to shout me on the podcast. Like, Aaron, you know what? I'm gonna find a way to shout you out every time now. Just
Bro,
because.
There you go.
Of like the soccer Illuminati that we've all kind of created, like this little core group of people that we know that like really, really do bits in this business that really move the needle.
Yeah.
Aaron Durant is in that soccer Illuminati bubble.
The
for
wild
sure.
thing is, Aaron Durant loves us. And I'm just like, again, do you not know who we are?
Yeah.
Like, yo, like, one.
I don't know how you f***ed up in life enough to want to be hanging around with us, but thank you.
Shout out to Aaron
Have a seat.
Durant.
Yeah, man.
Shout out to him. But what's the most memorable moment of your career?
I mean, that's a great question. The most memorable one is yet to come. Cheesy line out of the way. I would honestly say when NYCFC hired us.
Yeah.
Only because we started in the stands at NYCFC. And I remember at the time, I mean, this is no secret now. At the time, like, I looked at what Copa 90 was doing. This is before they hired Aaron as well.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's something there, but this is still like, feels really sanitized. You know, and I'm like, I think we could do better, you know?
You want to be raw.
Not just raw, because we are also brand safe, you know, shouts to the brands. But we wanted to be like, what's the real conversation people are having? You know what I mean? Like, why not have like real banter as opposed to like, what's the banter that gets us to the next segment? Like, have the real banter and then you'll get to the next segment. Things like, what's real humor? You know, not just retired players that have a little bit of personality. Like, what's it like when just dudes that have never played at that level but love the sport? What's it sound like when they talk? Because that's 99.9% of the people watching. It's not like it is in America where it's like this like elitist kind of sport. Like, what's it sound like when we talk? And like Jimmy Conrad had big personality. He just handled humor differently than we would. And I'm good fan of his, friend now as well. But we know we'd be different. Like, no one's making hip hop references. No one's talking like they're from somewhere. You know what I mean? Everyone's like, everyone sounds like they grew up in a TV studio. So I'm like, how do we move that needle forward? We started in the stands. I remember saying to Christian, like, yo, we'll do videos and we'll take over this business. And obviously none of those things came true. But I was like, yo, we'll do this, we'll do that. And I'm like, bro, no one's talking MLS. There's no way they don't mess with us. They don't mess with us. But but like all those things I said to him, and he was like, all right, fine. Let's do it. I remember saying to him, I go, yo, it's crazy. We're paying to be here. I bet you in a year, they're paying us to be here. It wasn't a year. It took a long time. But eventually, they hired us. And that's after they said no to like multiple pitches of ours. Multiple times we tried to get through to them. We're fans. We're season ticket holders. I was like 208th season ticket holder ever at NYCFC. Still season ticket holder. I'm trying to get into like my local. I want to rep my local. And for them to have hired us, that moment, I was like, okay, now is when I had the TV show already, and I still was like, all right, now's the moment where maybe if someone says like, all right, you made it, I'm starting to believe it a little bit. 100%. You know what I mean? That's like, now maybe I'll believe that hype just a little bit.
Do you know who else we should shout out? Speaking of NYCFC,
What's up?
Tommy.
Yes, absolutely.
Tommy Battle. I love
Tommy Battle's the best.
That's my guy. I love
Yeah.
Tommy.
Bro,
Bro.
you see his photos all over the place. He's beyond legit with it.
Listen,
He's working.
I
That dude is
love
working.
Tommy, man. He's
Yeah.
like, that's like my OG. Shout out to Tommy, and shout out to Tommy's wife too. She bullied me last summer.
Really?
Yeah, she made me eat oysters. I don't eat seafood.
Oh, come on.
I'm sure it was well deserved.
Grow up.
I don't eat seafood. So
Grow
I was
up.
like, funny story. I was like, I don't eat seafood. She goes, but you will today. I was like, but I don't. She goes, try it, and if you don't, you can say you don't.
Okay.
Lily got bullied, and I ate it. I was like,
Wait. You don't eat lobster or crab or anything?
I had lobster during Christmas break. Shout out to my homies. They gave me lobster.
Brother, you are from Baltimore, Maryland. You don't dabble in crab cakes or
I
lobster.
don't. It's straight chicken or beef around here. That's it.
That's crazy.
Or goat meat.
You
Like
very
we're
much
doing.
like that
How fucks you
meathead
go?
grind.
Huh?
You very much on that meathead grind chicken or beef.
Yeah, chicken, beef, or goat meat. That's it. Or lamb sometimes, depending on how
Have
we
you
feeling.
ever had a shrimp?
I have had shrimp before. But yeah, it's just, it's not my thing.
Yeah, okay.
I respect it. Like, if that's what you do, that's what you do. But like, I just don't eat seafood.
I had a piece of shrimp. It was like I had it to go, and I was like one left. I had it earlier today, and I remember just getting it close to my mouth, and I was like, "Oh, the smell of this is just intoxicating." Yeah, I'm like, shrimp is just incredible.
Yeah.
If it's like fresh and it's cooked right,
Yeah.
it's just one of those things where I'm like, I don't know how you don't want to eat this.
Yeah, sure.
Everything in my brain is like, dude, find more of these. Why'd you only bring one home?
I can't. It's tough.
Yeah.
But nah, man, this has been great.
Thank you, man.
Last
No, this
question.
was an honor to be here, bro.
Last question.
Yeah.
90th minute. You scored a goal, a winner.
Yeah.
Right? You take your shirt off. What does it say?
I'm sorry, because have you seen me with my shirt off? Oh, no one should have to see that, bro.
Last time Zito said we got a QR code, Talis said something else.
Tyler said something profound, I remember.
He did. He did say something.
If I had a shirt underneath it,
that's what we said.
yeah.
Oh, okay, I thought you meant like completely take my shirt
no,
off. I'd
we're
be
not
like,
showing-
oh,
no.
you'd be like, that's definitely a sports
No, the
bra because that dude got
message
boobs.
on the shirt, or the
What's the
tank top.
message on the shirt? How do I? Siempre Malcriado, which is Malcriado is what you call a bad kid, but it really is like kids who talk out of turn, kids who talk too much. I got called it every day of my life. It was like I wouldn't shut up in school. I would answer back. If I thought the teacher was wrong, I'd tell him that. And because I continue to be that way is the only reason I am here today.
Hey,
There you go.
Yeah.
that's wonderful.
Yeah, Malcriado forever, bro.
Tell the people where we can find you and the Cooligans and Christian. Tell us.
Everything is at Soccer Cooligans. Please follow, comment, subscribe, whatever you're supposed to do. But really, if you want to know all my deepest thoughts, hit subscribe to Shirtless Plantain. Why are you watching this, bro? Hit subscribe.
Yeah. Shout out to Alexis, man. It's been a great pleasure to have him on the podcast
Bro.
finally. We're going to do this more.
An honor, bro.
Listen, we're going to, this year, 2023, we're going to do a lot more like crazy soccer stuff.
Bro.
I'm very excited for this. So once again, Alexis, thank you for your time. Appreciate
do
you, my
it.
guy.
Thanks for coming on.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
man. Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it. Boom. Thank you so much.
Take your shirt off. Take your shirt off.